ones who are underprivileged and who don't have access to the basic education. We are doing a lot of other things these are very small things to mention, but of course, having water tanker in place when it is a peak summer. Um, Schools, of course, we are developing the local playground so that the human sentiments, so whatever a human needs, they can have a better life. So this is what we have undertaken at the preliminary stage. Now this project is for next 20 years. So we are planning to do a lot of things. Maybe we are planning to open a school, open a hospital, so that again, when we leave this land after 20 years, after the completion of our project, so that the land is in a best stage, like probably it will look more greener, and the people, the economy, the community will be in harmony with the environment as well with each other. We want to give a better life. So this has been our ambition, and we are trying to, adhere to it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jayesh. It is really good to hear that such a leading mining operator is, apart from doing the mining business, they are giving so much back to the society. Thanks to the company from the fraternity. Thank you very much. Kamal, from where I left you, it is a top-driven approach where we need to have more inclusion. So we can of course have inclusion in terms of sustainability and safety. It's a regular practice that can happen. But what about reaching the excellence? Like how do we achieve, or how do we aim for excellence, and what do we need to do? What are the changes that we need to do to achieve excellence?
Yeah, so basically, we are talking about beyond the compliance. You want to reach operational excellence or safety excellence, you have to take initiatives. That initiatives have to touch down to the lowest level rung of employee. Not only employee, your contractor, your service provider, everybody. Like in West Bokaro case, I will tell you that we used to move tailings, and while I was in Tata Steel, tailings and middlings through the trucks, and there used to be 2,000 trucks in a day, which used to take this coal. So drivers will come, and they don't have a place to sleep or bath or. So they will be waiting till they take the first load again, and next day they will have to leave early. So without sleep they will go. So there was a thrust, because a lot of road accidents were happening on the villages while they were going. So we came up with a rest shelter for these operators, which was there, and it drastically reduced, and the place to bath and to take proper rest, so that they are in good condition when they drive the vehicle back. So things like that, it's a journey which is continuous. It's not something which is you can take on incrementally. In Australia, if you look at it, there are very stringent safety norms, but then they have reached that position after a lot of iterations and going through these cycles. Unfortunately, the education level has not been that good for the Indian mine worker, because the facilities were not there, right kind of schools and labs and the polytechnics where they can be trained. But it's not the case now. Jamshedpur in and around, I think, has more technical centers now which can train a good amount of people which are required for a new operation or for expanding your capacity. Where do you get that manpower from? If it is unskilled manpower, you have to definitely train him. And that is where the crux of the safety excellence come, because it touches the people. It's not about any artificial intelligence or digitalization. It's also about people's attitude, how you can change. And that's a key point of a safety excellence journey, where management is responsible, leadership is responsible, and then you push it down to the lowest level and do an inclusive growth. In terms of like women who are newly inducted, they have a different kind of challenges in terms of their rest shelters, in terms of their the restrooms and all. That has to be properly provided, because only then you can expect a lady to operate a truck or a excavator, when she has that facility. Otherwise, there are compromises which are being made. People are not comfortable at the workplace, and then it has implications. So it's a continuous journey, actually.
Yeah. Thanks for your insight, Kamal. So we are talking about coal, and since we have a lady from the steel industry, that too from an organization who has, they do the best practices. Tata Steel is well known for their best practices worldwide. So we would like to know, how can we collaborate? Like Michelle had initially mentioned the word collaborate. So how do you think coal industry and steel industry can collaborate in terms of coal gaining more expertise on sustainability and safety practices from steel?
Yeah, so importance of collaboration is always there. Everything cannot be invented in-house. There is a cost of innovation also. So collaboration is a must. Uh, Coal and steel collaboration is happening within Tata Steel. You understand coal, the best, and we understand the use of coal. If we collaborate, we know how to, take it to next level. We only, let's say, as a steel, we say, I want this much of ash. You know what other properties of coal will make, the combustion of coal better. So definitely, again, there's no discussion required to understand, the collaboration between the two and the transfer of best practices. Safety in Tata Steel, again, it's a culture, it's a movement. That is how we take it. We are, trying to understand the best practices from various other companies. We actually called DuPont, and they were there, our consultant, for a long time, just to share the best practices. And then based on that, we have, all the processes and systems, they were developed. And then from one side, when we see that it is actually yielding result, we then horizontally deploy it to the other. So that is very, very important. Some of the collaboration that we are doing in the sustainability field, for example, with our customers. For example, we went to Godrej and then we saw that they are doing excellent in biodiversity. So they have this mangrove plant, they have the entire mangrove. They are running it very well. We are trying to understand from them that how you are doing this. Some of the very technical things, like we do a life cycle assessment of our product. So from making a product, when you're extracting it from mines and then you deliver to your customer, in the entire journey, how much CO2 you produce, what is the acidification potential, SOx, NOx that you are emitting, which can cause acid rains, then how much you, through water, how much phosphorus, nitrogen you are actually putting in the environment, which is causing, growing of these algae, rivers are dying. So this kind of analysis we are doing in steel. And then when we talk to one of our customer, they said we also want to be a part of this analysis. So we are now doing with a construction company, where we are helping them that when they actually bring all the raw material, whether it is cement, whether it is steel or cable, marble, tiles, whatever they are bringing, how much CO2 actually they are bringing, how much other harm they are doing to the environment. So we are doing it together, making them understand that this is how, and once you know that this is the most harmful raw material for you, you try to find a substitute, or you work with your supplier to make it more greener. So, of course, collaboration is very, very important, because it's a era of expertise. Everyone knows their own field, and it is better to learn from them instead of making some gut feeling or some assumptions about the industry.
Thanks, Aditi. I mean, I really love all your answers. They are simply out of experiences that you have been speaking all through. Jayashree, coming back to you, like you mentioned earlier, like there has been a lot of corporate social responsibility, that how you're giving it back to the society apart from doing business. I'm sure there must be opportunities, there must be challenges. So how do you cater to both?
Suhini, that is truly a difficult question, because you can't choose one. If you have challenges and if you want to prosper, you have to take risk. So we all have transited from, say, from telephones to wireless, and then now smartphones, from desktop to laptop, now notebooks, from maybe petrol cars to electric vehicles. We are all looking forward for all, electric vehicles. But what lies ahead? Coal. Coal is here to stay for sure. Because till now we are dependent upon coal. All the raw materials that the industry has to use, it comes from coal. So coal at least will stay for midterm. It is not going to phase out. And there is also a difference between transit and switch. So we all have to transit. We can't switch. कि आज coal बंद कर दिया, किसी दूसरे में चले गए. It's not that. We can't switch. We have to transit gradually and slowly. So this coal production and definitely moving to a sustainable environment has to go hand in hand. What we can do is we can come out with a lot of innovation like Coal India is doing. What it is doing, it has recently, not recently, but it's abundant mines. They have been converted into eco parks. They are also making it a tourism spot. The overburden which comes from the coal, they are turning it into soil, which is again used for construction activities or maybe for irrigation. Then the water which comes from the mine, it can be used for irrigation. It can even be filtered. It can be given this filtered RO and given to the villagers where there is a lack of water. So we have to think of innovative ideas. We have to overcome these challenges and definitely transit to a better, greener, cleaner society. Now, when we look at solar panels or say electric vehicles or maybe wind turbines, so these also comes from mines, and that is how the government is also focusing on critical minerals. The Coal India, the Coal India, which was always focusing on coal, has also started, tapping these market for critical minerals and RED, rare earth elements. We have been lucky to bag one of the lithium block. So gradually we all have to move towards the green metals. But for the midterm, definitely coal is going to stay, and we have to find a way to, better handle it so that there is a less environment impact and it can be net zero country. Thank you.
Thanks, Jayashree. It is a good insight in terms like we are not ready to leave coal, yet we are ready to adopt sustainable and safer culture of work. Thanks. So I would end my question finally with Dennis and try to know more about what the future outlook is of safety and sustainability together over the next decade, and how do you think and how do you feel it's going to go in the next 10 years?
Am I allowed to answer that considering the lights have gone out? Are they trying to push us out of the room? Yeah. And I want to put this again in context. I am an observer of the coal industry. I'm not an expert. I'm not in the sector. So where I see it going 10 years, you may all laugh at me and say, that's just rubbish. But this is what I see. So the obvious transition, and you see it in India, is the movement of open cut to underground coal mining. To me, that's a no-brainer. Less environmental impact, greater, often